Okay. And also, according the 4 negative action of the verbally. And if you're like kind of, there's no trace of the selfish desire, and also you have this permitted, lying in order to protect someone on the point of being killed. And that is, you can't lie. For example, say someone's chasing and to possible to, how do you say, to save, to release, and some and the sentient beings. In order to do that, you can to liar things. It's okay, no problem. And also it's like, or to protect good belonging to the 3 jewels would also be permitted. And also like to protect to the here is the 3 jewels, means it's the monastic things, but it's like a kind of the communities belongings. Just we can to say communities and belonging things is like you protect them a little bit to need to liar and like say, and this is kind of the no problem, because you haven't got any trace in your heart selfish desire, then is no problem. But it is never right to deceive others in one's own interest. That is like if you have interest to sell yourself, then you liar and you protect something, then of course that is not permitted, but it's like you totally to help into the others and benefit for others. Even you can do to make a little bit. Liar is no problem. And sowing discord for instance, between 2 close friends, one of whom was a wrongdoer, while the other loved to do good. And like maybe it's sowing discord. For example, some good person is like kind of involved or maybe connected to the bad friendship. And in this perspective, if you haven't got any jealousy, haven't got any self kind of the trace in mind, desire or something, then you can do sowing discord. And like this is absolutely truth. Like, how do you say, maybe we can to say which kind of negative friends, maybe doer of the killer, stolen, sexual misconduct, and also we can to say some alcoholic, drug addict, and this sort of, someone is very much a criminal doing like very much. Someone is maybe based habitual tendencies, propensity is maybe good. Naturally, it's like have some good positive things, but maybe it's very easily to change, very easily influence. And in this case, it's like going on. This is absolutely, I have on my own experience. I have like 2 experience. One is once I like to take vows, don't drink alcohol. I like very much determined. One my best friend, and we are just often go together talking. We studied painting together, and once it's like we went to his uncle's place. His uncle is like some leader of China, and he's rich and full of the inside alcohol, many things. And he said, "Let's have fun today. We can to drink a little bit." I said, "No, I took vows, commitment." He said, "Come on, just like this is no problems." And then it's like we deal, like talk, and that is maybe truth. I drank like this. Of course, not drunk, but lost. At that times, it's like this. I say it's like, okay, I'm very happy, but my commitment is lost. It's very much regret, kind of the many years. And also one my friend, he's beginning very, very nice monk, extremely good monk, and many teachers expecting these monks maybe become in the future master or teacher is become very everybody focus on, but slowly some gossiped, and he's make associated. There's in the Shursen before this Chinese created university, he's associated some negative friends. And we sometimes met, he's not in the Dzogchen region, but we are quite good and friend. But slowly we are a little bit disconnected. And then my gosh, one day they says, oh, now he's give up the monk clothes. And then there's two other like few students, sometimes they could fish, they smoke, drink, because the beginning is the Chinese created. This is students, not any kind of the collected student, and they're very, very much this communist style. And then one day I was in the other valleys of the village, and for the waiting some like hitchhiking. And then his friend, they are coming to, there's like they talking, just don't want to study, and everybody smoking and coming. And certainly in the front of his group, at 4 or 5 people, and some small birds fly, and they took knife and throw out. And they couldn't kill, but they want to kill. And then I said, what are you doing this? He said, why not? And now you are changed. Yeah, it's everything's changeable. Why not? Then it's like very much. It's like unbelievable. Beginning is like this. Then slowly, the friends changed. Absolutely, it's like completely. Afterwards, then he become very, very strange. It's like okay, I don't know. He received some job from government, but it's like this. Good friends, like we say, a good friend is like a gold. Wherever there's, you should to collect. Of course, good friend is a spiritual friend. That is the like kind of no need to mention. But even then, the Sangha families, sometimes good friends, every time is to showing the positive things and good behaviors, and even the like doing something. No, I don't want to show it's my own defects. Maybe they like kind of imitating to me. And this kind of good friend is a gold we need to like collect it. Negative friend is like poisoned. We need to avoid. In this case, like something is like a negative friend is they're coming together, maybe convert this good friend or good person is convert into the negative bad things. Then maybe you can to make sowing discord, to make separation. Maybe why not? And this kind of, if you haven't got any kind of jealousy or the like kind of your concern is selfism, then sometimes, of course, in the friends between there's a lot of like kind of like how to say jealousies. Or I want to make so in discord because it's like this is my friend, and then it's my friend. There's become friend. Maybe they kick out me or something. This sort of like the usual normal. According to jealousies, then you make so in discord is not good. But really, to some, it's a negative. It's like a transforming or changing. Is a positive person. Then you can to make so in discourse. There's no problem. Like this permitted friend of who was the wrongdoer, while the other one loved wants it to do good things. Then you can make the so in discourse. To a little bit separation is good. Would be permeated of there were a danger that the bad ones, like a stronger character, would have corrupted the good ones. Corrupted the good one, and the first time is behaviors and everything's good, but influence of negative friends. And then it's a good person's, all the good qualities is corrupted. And in this perspective, you can to make so in discourse between them. However, it is not the permissible simply to separate two people who get along well. And generally, it's like two good friends you make in the scene, so in discord, to make the separate or the rift. That is the not good. Of course, no permission, but some is like benefit. Yes, you have this permitted. And harsh word could be used, for example, harsh word could be used, for example, as a more forceful means to bring to the Dharma those on whom the softer approach makes no impressions. Sometimes it's like a kind of we would to say it's like maybe enlightenment. For example, when we look at some deity, wrathful deities, like for example, in Guru Rinpoche and Pema Sambhavas, sometimes he becomes wrathful and he subjugate. Some is the spirit, some sentient beings cannot to tame through the peaceful, kindly. And then they are like wrathfully, forcefully to turn. And like this, sometimes it's like maybe some bodhisattvas, and also it's like compassionate, it's like totally concerning others, and to turn into the Dharma or the positive path may be kindly impossible, but wrathfully, harsh word, and give like you need to do like this and that. And then it's a little bit forcefully to do, it's you have the permitted. And also it's in the advice given to a disciple in order to get at his hidden faults. That is like you have the permission, give like kind of the harsh word. And of course, it's like normally teachers give advice and also some instructions. The advice means it's like we can to say, I have nature character, these negative characteristics, negative behaviors, negative disturbing emotions. Then we say, what can I do? Give me advice. And then the teachers first digging out like kind of negative behaviors and characteristics. And then it's like telling, yes, you have this and that. And if we don't change, it's very much like giving the harsh word, like kind of the digging the really to in the sometimes the middle of the student, sometimes digging. That is they say is the best to, how do you say, is advice, put instructions. And then you want immediately to change and the modern times, Patrul Rinpoche says, like, maybe you have the good heart, you are compassionate, you fully concerned at the benefit, but you should to taking care. Why? Because if you really to digging out others, your disciples, like defects, maybe become angry against it, a lot of troubles. But generally speaking, the teachers should to like digging out the student secret defect, and through the peacefully, through the wrathfully, through the soft, like kind, like a word, or it's a very harsh wordly, and it's sometimes it's a truth. For example, my root teacher, this Rupa Rinpoche, when he's angry and correct him, sometimes he uses a very harsh word, and to really to forcefully to say change, and like this. But reality really such a kind of benefit, because you cannot argue. That is big kind of the things. And as I would to say, for example, your parents correct, you can argue. And your brother and sisters correct to you, you can argue. And your sanghas correct to you, you can argue. Says, no, I can't, I'm not like this. Why you say me like this? You are criticized. And so really kind of the out of the faith, devotion, trust to your teacher. And then it's anyway, it's like sometimes we say it's Lama's dictatorship. But in this case, what you can do is like in the middle of the sanghas, it's digging out. It's like it's a good effect. What you can do is, and there is one Kempo. His name is Kempo Chui Chabdal. Last time I showed like a Malaripa. And then he's in the Sangha, there's two monks fighting. Why? Because one monk, he lost his money. I think it's 500 Chinese yuan. One monk is ugly, he robbed. And then they argue and like kind of. And then in the middle of in the teaching times, and this, he's like really like fixed this owner of this money, this monk, and says, look, it's like it's a very great practitioners. And also it's like he's like our is a revealed teacher, and generally he looks like a very great practitioner of the patient. And this time, so where is your patient? He's like he lost the money and he's received the criticism from, and then it's like a lot in the middle of the like this, and then it's like finally, and he's give up and he went in the teacher cry and say, okay, I never to argue, and completely if he give me back or not give me back and everything. And then after his prayer and says, look, this kind of the practitioners are good. Yesterday I dig to him his defects, but he is extraordinary prayer. Like this, peacefully, wrathfully, to tame into like this. And that is sometimes is wonderful things. It's like, how do you say, advice is coming to direct into our defects. But it's modern times. It's not like this, and but anyway, that time is a teacher or Bodhisattva has permitted, and to criticize or digging out the disciples, student. But of course, sometimes also it's like fake teachers. Sometimes like this, some teachers thinking only the benefit themselves. Then it's not very good. For example, sometimes it's like teachers, they criticize to all other things. And then it's finally who is the best. I am best. This sort of not like this. And also it's like teacher's own self is really to criticize own secret defects. And teachers like kind of the diminish or like kind of the eradicated own secret defects, and then is to criticize others' defects. Also wonderful, like this. But anyway, it's the advice given to the disciple order to the get at these hidden faults is okay. As the Atisha says, the best teacher is the one who attacked your hidden faults. This George Atisha is a great India Pandita. He said it's like best teachers all the times like attacked our hidden faults. And you have this and that. Then the student is like, say, really, I might have like this and that. If like recognize, they changed. When they changed, then student is become the extremely good. Like this, the best instruction is once aimed squarely at those hidden faults. And squarely is like a kind of the aimed squad. Teaching the PT instructions. Instructions is direct to go into the own like kind of the hidden faults. And score means like kind of the digging, hurting, attacked, and destroying, eradicating, and those hidden faults. And hidden faults is disappeared, and then we become the enlightenment, and like this. But however, harsh word spoken just to insult others are not justified. If like kind of the others you insult, and kind of the others you perceive as low or inferiors, and then it's like a kind of the digging out then it's like others the hidden faults. It's not good. This is not permissions. There's like like this. And also worthless chat might be used as the skillful means of the introduction to the Dharma to people who love talking and who cannot be through the Dharma otherwise. That is also wonderful things. Really, for example, when someone doesn't want to study, someone is like don't want to study the Dharma, but someone is like want to talk to very much. And then it's like maybe you can to help to talk. But when you are talking times, you need to mindfulness. And which kind of the benefit, which kind of you give interest and to the others. And for example, some parents, when they are talking about to the children, maybe it's like telling to the histories, telling to the like kind of the children's toys, like cartoons, and then showing is a very nice thing. For example, great compassionate, great persons did like this and that. Then what do you think? Would you like to become like this and that? For example, when you are during the conversations, maybe not necessarily to ugly things talking about that. And when you are like a worthless chatting, if you have mindfulness and you give some subject, like kind of the, how do you say, to talking, and maybe something is you are acting according to others' wish, but inside is like you are saying something is a good things, and like amazement things, yeah, like this. Maybe, for example, it's like one person has, maybe it's like talking evil things, maybe criminal things, robber, stealing these things. But then you say, yes, you accept it. That's right. Yeah, that. Then maybe, for example, we can to say it's like sexual misconduct. Maybe it's like someone's talking like this and that, but yeah, they did like this, that, and also like this. And yes. And then it's like you say it's slowly, yeah, this kind of the couple, this kind of the families is, I heard it's very nice. Yes, sometimes like this and that. Yeah, that's true. And then it's like this kind of families, they never talking about others. They say they are very good. What do you think? That you are not reject other ones to say something. You never use the but. You accept first, yes, but then it's inside you have compassion ideas. How I can to change this subject slowly. If you other one says some negative, it's some like kind of really worthless chapter, you immediately you can't to say like this. Oh yes, the but, then other ones offend, offense, and then they don't want to talk to you, and then particularly you say, yes, you are not correct. And in the Dharma says like this, you should to study Dharma. It's like, then other ones, hey, okay. They never listen to you. But if you are really skillful, is you want to help your family, friends, and first time, whatever they say, yeah, why not? For example, sometimes I will say it's like someone's a little bit criticized. For example, I say it's like Tahi and Noble, okay? I'm talking with the Samtakoi. And if I'm saying it's like Samtakoi, it's like Noble is really terrible. Tahi is maybe my best friend, okay? And Noble is other ones. And then I'm talking with Samtakoi. And I'm saying, Samtakoi, what do you think? He said, the Noble is a horrible person. He's doing this, that. And then it's a Samtakoi, yes. But also it's a Tashi is talking like this. Then I'm offended, now. And then it's like you immediately reject it, and then it's argue. Yeah, you say like this. Then it's a Tashi and Noble, so we need to talk. And Samtako is angry. I am angry, and we have like kind of. And if, for example, if I'm saying it's like our Noble is like this, if Samtako is very clever, then, maybe yes, yeah. You don't use the but, or you're like this. Take example. And then it's how you can to turn to say, maybe you don't need to like this. Some you can to say, if someone says like really is a kind of criticize behind this, yeah, Lord, maybe others are doing that. Then some in the perspective you kind of give point. Other ones is like a little bit inside shocked. Ah, yeah, that is the truth. If you say so someone's to criticize to others is very embarrassed. Maybe it's like finally, slowly you talk. Then it's the other one is a little bit what I did, what I talked to the noble like this. And then it's like they're not angry with you and maybe appreciate. For example, you know, I'm just telling, it's Dzogchen Rinpoche. It's incredible. He's like this. First time when we conversation, whatever you said, he said, yeah, like this. Never ever used like kind of but. In our like kind of the Europeans, it's like I'm now Europeans. We have a very much habit. If other ones say something, you immediately it's a challenge. Yes, but this. Yes, but the. That is like it's a very much normal. It's not very good, and you cannot to say like this. But if you like kind of the first to a little bit help, even if, for example, you want to help alcoholic, drug addict, criminals, maybe first time you need to be associated, and it's like kind of a little bit acting, coding these persons. Then you can to correct. And after it's like you sum in the point, compromise, and like coming close together, agreement. But then it's slowly, you can to change into the positive ways. And it's possible. Even your family, even your friend, even your parents, even your children, and to like this, and this kind of, it's the worthless chapter. Sometimes we have permitted, and someone is like, without talking about the gossip things, they don't want to listen you, nothing. Even the Dharma, if you talk, immediately reject. No, I don't want to listen. But you used some special way. First time is maybe you talking gossip things. Yeah. Then slowly. Oh, of course, finally you involved completely same as other ones. Then it's not very good. Inside you have compassion, kindly, how I can to convert it, say. And I make joke, okay? Make joke. There is one lady, she was in London, or I don't know, New York. And then it's like, once it's like she's going to job, going there. There's one guy is totally homeless. And then it's like when she go into there and she gives some bread, but he was quite young, but it's really smelly, desperate, and smoking, and alcoholic, and like this. And then this is kind of the very strange history, okay? Baptism. And then every day she's traveling, go there and give something to. And one day it's like he received that, and he said, thank you. And she very much kind of sympathetically, he said, thank you. You are so kind. And she thought, maybe can I help to this person? And then she want to a little bit like kind of contact. And then it's like, what happened? He says something is like, to change it, impossible. And then it's every day she's a little bit talk, listen to him. And she says, wow, wonderful. Nobody listened to me. I'm like desperate in my life. And then slowly talk, and then it's like she has connect and kind of the, love. And then they are married. And then he's become wonderful person. And life is a very, very much success. And then he says, appreciate, and like very much, my life is like these situations. And then it's like she changed completely directions. And like this, sometimes good persons, you helping to like this to convert like this way. Sometimes you can go to there, you are ugly, alcoholic, homeless, suddenly go away. Maybe you should to stop. They don't want. It is like how you can to help to like this. First time you need to listen what they say. It's like this. It's impossible to change. And like this kind of, you can to how do you say? It's like have permission, like worthless chat, in order to benefit for some others. That is a very important things to us to keep in our mind, because we are talking a lot of worthless chat. And all the times to talking about worthless chat, we need to incite the compassion and this kind of ideas. Meeting timers, conversation with friends, and talking about families. In the sometime we say it's like someone's like our families become Buddhist and you practice Dharma. Of course, you understand perfect Dharma. Then you are say worried. Oh, I want to talk to my family. Also, they important to practice Dharma, but they don't listen to me. They don't want to say. That is problem, error there is. For example, we become the Buddhist, we practice Dharma, we understood, but our behaviors very strange. We want to immediately correct to our family's behaviors. Maybe you cannot do that because Dharma said like this. You should to do like this because say Dharma said like this. Then his family is hated. And if you really want to help to them, first time is like acting according to your families, corresponding, like working, talking, everything's like to them. And then is you change your like the behaviors, you really act in your Dhamma way. And then it's like what is like nice, simple, some measurement history of the like Dharma practitioners. Then it's like maybe your families, your like kind of the children's or parents, they changed. They can to appreciate very much. Then slowly maybe follow them like this. But it's never warranted simply to create destructions for oneself and others. And there's no permitted some worthless chaps making the destruction mind yourself to the others, totally involved like a kind of negative way to talking about the worthless chatter. That is the impossible. As the three negative mentally actions there are no kind of the they are the never ever permitted for anyone, because there is no way for intention to turn them into the something positive things. Like for example, covetousness, absolutely not. There's nothing kind of the positive can become the positive. And also it's like wishing harming on others, and also which kind of how we can to transform into the positive things, impossible. Wrong views is impossible to turn into the positive. This mental negative, the three negative actions, there's nothing kind of the positive connections. All the times it's negative. And there's no permissions here. Once a negative thought, it is more explanations. As arising, it always develop into something negative. When you have the covetousness, when you have harsh words, wishing harm to others, relate to the desire attachment, relate to the ignorant, relate to the aversions. And this one is like, and also you have the wrong views. And this kind of arise into our minds, then always developed into the something is negative ways. The mind is the soul generated of the good and bad. And then there are the many occasions when the thoughts which arise in the mind, that is the truth. And principally our bodies verb is become the positive or negative. It totally depends on our mind is. It is like kind of the mind is generate good and bad, and then it's like kind of body and the verbs become the good. Of course, sometimes it's mentally, maybe not like coming out. It is like kind of, even if they are not translated into the speech or the actions. Maybe in the mind, you have the covetousness. Maybe you have like kind of the wishing harm on others. Maybe you have wrong views, but not kind of the like a translated, like a kind of the transmitted or the coming out of the from body speech. But inside your mind is like you have negative intentions, and then it's like motivations. Also, it's make such a kind of negative things. And also it's like can to receive a lot of negative results. Speech actions have a very strong positive or the negative effects. For example, maybe you are sitting and maybe it's like during the meditations, maybe you have an inconceivable pure generation of the compassions. Maybe externally body verbs, you are not acted yet, but maybe in a generation of the bodhicittas, this one is maybe you have such affection of the positive things. Maybe during the meditations, your body is taking kind of the postures, like meditation postures. Verbs like completely follow the shutapism and silent, but inside is like mind is totally involved negative emotions, disattachment, anger, hatred, and also it's like ignorance. And then it's like also it's this negative thoughts sometimes affect inconceivable things. And body verbally not acted, but the mentally you acted a lot. And therefore we say it's like all the times very important is mental, mind. Hey. So always examine our mind, and whatever received the teachings apply to our minds. Our mind and Dharma is corresponding, working together, or it goes together, or it's not. And also it's like each moment turn inward, look or at inside the mind, examine our minds. Therefore, so always examine our mind. If your thoughts are the positive, be glad and do more and more good. Look at the mind itself. There is no disattachment, there is no anger, aversion, there is no ignorance. Mind is involved in the compassion, wisdom, and there's positive things. I'm very glad, and so more and more I want to do so. And sometimes it's like when we are like during the meditation, during the study, during the recitations, and doing some positive things, certainly arrive some negative like kind of thoughts. Of course, we don't need to kind of the complain. Absolutely, it's a common sense. And one person is like meditating times, he's a little hungry, and then it's like his first look at his finger, and his finger looks like sausage. And then it's like quoting this to make a kind of some feeling. And now I'm hungry. How I can to get nice sausage? And some is like some inside the blood, meat. This kind of sausage is so thing like this. All is like kind of the time. And then it's certainly, and he's like kind of wake up. And then it's maybe 3 hours, maybe he's still there. The time is lost. And sitting there is nothing kind of meaningful, meaningless sitting there. And then it's like more kind of the negative karmic imprints. And in these situations, what can we need? and immediately to recognize, that is not my purpose, sitting to hear. I'm like kind of the beginning is a plant I want to meditate. Which kind of I need to meditate on? I want to meditate on the compassion, kindness. Okay, yes, you recognize that your negative thoughts, and then you changed, shift. And of course, negative is like at the moment there's no chance. And then it's you positive. Again negative coming, again recognize. And this one is like slowly struggling to do. It's very important. Sometimes like during the meditations, we have many imaginations is coming. And you need to recognize, and then you look kind of the put back. During the meditations, there are 9 methods. Have you seen? For example, Aung Kempo, he wrote this one inside. This is very famous, 9 method. And first one is like a kind of, you give food, some wild horse. This is example. Wild horse is your mind. Mind is like a wild horse. How you can to capture the wild horse? And maybe you need to do something. It maybe is which is favorite wild horse food. Maybe you put there, and maybe wild horse smelled it. And wild horses coming to like this, smelled and run away. You don't need to touch to put there. And then it's like again to put food and coming back. Run away. Coming back. And then it's like, that means it's like you put there is the meditation. Maybe characteristic meditation, non-characteristic meditations. But of course, mind, wild horse of the mind is not sitting on this, what you are going to meditate. And you put some pause or like something in the preserved place. But mind is coming and run out. Mind come back. Go like this. Sometimes we say it's like the mountain fountain. It's a very fast, very quickly. But slowly, again and again and again. No necessarily to be desperate, no necessarily complain, no necessarily to say, I can't meditate, what can? And just like to each moment to watch and like this. And then it's a slowly become. Don't go back, don't put back. Don't go back, don't put back. Like this. This kind of, there's 9 methods, slowly like this. And therefore, we need to examine our mind again and again. And if there is something, it's like positive actions occurring, of course, say glad, wonderful. My mind is connected to the compassion, wisdom, and understanding. Maybe feeling is like bad and ashamed that you still intentions, such thoughts in the spite of all the teachings you never received. And also you can to say, sometimes we have a feeling bad because it's maybe during the meditation, during the doing the section practice, you are saying, someone disturbed to me, how I can to kill it. How can to disturb them? It's inside it like so cloudy. It's a crowd of the negative emotions like this. And then it's like you recite something. Then it's like a kind of the, immediately maybe it's like you recognize, then you complain, then you sad, then you shame yourself. I'm not good like this. Then you like kind of losing self-courage. Not like this. And like this kind of, it's happened sometimes. They say, wow, that is not very good. How many years I still entering such into Dharma path? And also it's like how many years I studied, taming my mind, and still I have like this kind of, and how many times I received the teaching and PT instructions, but I'm still is doing like this kind of intention. And then it's like a little bit to making the self shame and like kind of, it's like no, then you need to transform, to change it, no problem. And like this is necessary to have the positive, to be glad, dedicate, negative, a little bit to complain self and to change, to confess. Then it's like taking the commitment in the future. I don't want to do this. Okay, do you have some questions? Need to provoke me. Oh, and these sentences I'm going to, okay? And telling to yourself that from now on you must do your, let's say, utmost not to let such thoughts occur in your mindset. In the future, like kind of the myself, that from now on to in the futures, and like whatever bad thoughts, and I'm immediately to eradicate, to take away, to remind, to remember my thoughts. I never ever have to again and this kind of thoughts. I mean, it's like that means it's to recognize again, and that means it's like we like how do you say, to get rid of, like this. Okay.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Mm-hmm.
Laurent Cavallina says,
Laurent, yes.
Laurent,
Mm-hmm.
when we recite with the prayer wheel, should we think that there are many mantras inside during the recitation, or we visualize and recite as we normally do?
Visualize as we are normal, but when you using the Dharma wheel, it's you recite same times millions, trillions. That's. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. He also says, I have a few plants at home, and I think the music and when we talk have an influence on them. Couldn't we say that plants are better outside in their natural environment and that we should minimize putting them inside?
Plant. That you can decide. Plants is like put outside naturally. But some plant has mind, plant like trees. These things. Some plant has mind, you can to put outside, good. Some plant is just make happy you and to keep in at home. It's both is okay. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Dasha Guzeva says, if to follow the logic with Captain, who killed the potential Bodhisattva's murderer, will it be correct to apply the death penalty to serial killers, rapists, and other evil people who directly and especially indirectly kill many beings nowadays?
Mm-hmm. If there is Bodhisattva, same as the compassionate captain, they can do it. But there in these days their existence. If not, then they cannot do it.
Thank you. Emiko Nakamoto says, when the result of karma is appeared and the person becomes sick, is there any method to prevent for the bad cause again to bring results of sickness, except doing positive actions and generate compassion?
What do you think? Medicine? Doctors? I'm not sure. Without like a negative antidote is a positive. Positive destroyer is the negative. That is the in our life like this. Others, maybe we can to think if there is existence. I'm not sure.
Thank you. Dinara Zai says, it seems to me almost all my actions are riddled with doubts, affection. Sometimes I notice it, but these processes go in the background. It turns out almost all of my activities is unwholesome. It is sad.
Do not need to become sad. If you understood all your action is unwholesome, then do the wholesome things. Very important. Most people, they do not recognize the unwholesome activities. And now it's like, yes, it's like your body, speech, mind is all the times moving onward. It's very difficult to stop, impossible. And moving on your body, speech, mind, then you have the result each second, each moment. And maybe this is like you believe or not believe, follow or sad or not, and this is the realities. And then it's like each the movements creates the next result, and next result is good or bad, totally depends that this the movement. And then it's like to more to concern which is the unwholesome activity, which is the wholesome. This time we already studied very well. Then we need to study to put how do you say, progressively schedule. That's all. Okay. And others? Oh, no problem. Maybe we can also stop half an hour.